Most of you are probably familiar with LLMs, large language models, for example, Chat GPT, in which a computer generates human-sounding conversational style response when given a prompt. I recently started learning about a section of LLM models called prompt engineering, where you try to design prompts that give better answers. And I've recently learned about 3 techniques in prompt engineering that just, when I heard them, I thought to myself, that shouldn't work. That shouldn't do anything. And yet, apparently, they work better than they should. So the first of these 3 design techniques in prompt engineering is called tree of thought. And the idea is that you tell your LLM, give me a whole bunch of different responses. I'm going to give you a prompt. You give me a whole bunch of responses. So I'll be like, teach me about photosynthesis or something like that. So you have a whole bunch of different responses. Then you tell your LLM, all right, so here's a bunch of different responses. Give me a rubric that you would use to evaluate which one of these is better. You tell your LLM to do this. And then you tell your LLM, all right, use that rubric and decide which of these responses is the best. Why does that work? It's almost like the LLM is like, oh, you didn't tell me you wanted it to be a good response. I just thought you wanted a response.
Well, that's different.
It's like why does it seems kind of ridiculous. On the other hand, I guess it kind of makes sense, in the context of if you're talking to humans, you're like, hey, let's brainstorm a little bit, just spitball ideas. And then you kind of say, all right, well, how would you decide what the metrics of a good idea are? All right, then which of these ideas is the best? So I guess I could kind of defend it, but it just seems kind of funny that you have to tell it, no. Good ideas. Give me good ideas. So that's called tree of thought. There's another design principle, which is called chain of verification, or COVI for short. And the idea here is you are really invested in getting a factually correct answer out of your LLM, which LLMs don't always do, especially if it's step-by-step logic. They're not oriented towards necessarily giving factual answers. They're oriented towards giving answers that sound plausible. As if some kid without a high school education goes to a cocktail party, overhears a bunch of physicists talking, takes very careful notes, and then kind of pieces together little bits of context or whatever to answer your question about physics. So chain of verification is the idea of you ask it a question, and then you ask your LLM, all right, come up with some follow-up questions that could be used to verify the accuracy of the response you just gave me. Okay, now use those questions in combination with the initial response you gave me to come up with a best yet response out of that. So again, the fact that that works just seems ridiculous to me. It's okay, come with a response. Okay, but this time, make sure it's accurate. Now, was your answer accurate? And then, Chat GPT is oh, I guess not. I just kind of made things up. I don't know, why does that work? Why do you have to tell it to be accurate?
Stop acting so stupid!
So that's amusing to me. And then the last of these is a prompt engineering technique. I think it's called rephrase and respond. And this is the wildest thing out there, to my mind. So you tell your LLM, I'm about to give you a prompt, but don't answer it. I want you to rephrase the prompt I'm giving you into a prompt that you could give a better answer from. So it'd be like if I said, okay, ChatGPT, tell me what's the best state in the country to live in. It'll then take that question, rephrase it into a same content question that I gave it with the same question in it, but it'll rephrase it in a way that it can answer it better. So the fact that works to me is completely ridiculous. Surely if it understood my question well enough to be able to paraphrase it into a question that it understands, then it doesn't need to do that in the first place. Why does that work? It's no, just assume I'm talking to you the way that would work.
Well, that's different.
The fact that it has to be told to do that just seems absolutely ridiculous to me. So it kind of gives you some insight into the way these things work. We think that they're kind of super intelligent because they can rattle off, very fluent, plausible sounding sentences. But it actually has to be told explicitly to do things like be accurate. And you have to guide it through that process or else it doesn't at all. I was amused at that. That being said, I'm not an expert in this stuff, so if you know more than me about LLMs and you want to jump in with some clarification about something I got wrong, or you can better explain to me why these like really simple, almost trivially rephrased prompts work, I'd be delighted to hear from that as well. So thanks for watching. Remember to stay coffee snobby.